Embold put our roots down in 1957. Roots that have only grown deeper and stronger, helping local dreams soar with the banking tools our community needs. Come join us at Embold Credit Union and bank boldly.
Good afternoon. Hello, and welcome to today's event, the 67th Annual Membership Meeting of Embold Credit Union. My name is Kima Rosa. I'm the Chief Lending Officer at Embold. Please be aware that today's meeting is being recorded and that all participants joining us online are in watch and listen only mode.
Buenas tardes y bienvenidos al evento de hoy, la 67ª Asamblea Anual de Miembros de Embold Credit Union. Mi nombre es Kimo Rosa y soy el director de préstamos de Embold. Tenga en cuenta que este seminario web se está grabando y todos los participantes que se unan a nosotros en línea están en modo de ver y escuchar solamente.
There are a few ways for our online participants to interact with us this afternoon. We will be using the chat box for you to add your comments, ask questions, or vote, and I encourage everyone's participation.
Los participantes en línea tienen varias formas de interactuar con nosotros esta tarde. Utilizaremos el chat para añadir comentarios, hacer preguntas o votar. Animo a todos a participar.
Now, to preside over today's meeting, please welcome the President and CEO of Embold Credit Union, Aaron Goff.
Para presidir a la reunión de hoy, demos la bienvenida al presidente y director general de Embold Credit Union, Aaron Goff.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Welcome to today's event, the 67th Annual Member Meeting of Embold Credit Union. Appreciate your introduction there, Kimo, and I will now call the order the 67th Annual Meeting of Embold Credit Union.
Gracias, Kimo, y bienvenido a todos. Gracias por acompañarnos esta tarde. Ahora voy a llamar al orden a la 67ª reunión anual de Embold Credit Union.
First thing we need to do is determine if there is a quorum present. Our federal regulator, the National Credit Union Administration, defines that as 25 members, and we've been diligently counting you as you come in the door, and we know that we have more than 25 and do have a quorum today.
Tenemos que determinar si hay un quórum que la Administración Nacional de Cooperativas de Crédito define como 25 miembros. Mirando alrededor de la sala a nuestros asistentes en persona, parece que tenemos un quórum.
Minutes from the 2023 annual meeting have been provided to our in-person attendees as well as online. If you would, please take a moment to look at that document. It's inserted in your annual report if you haven't seen it. And I would like to ask for a motion to approve if you were so inclined.
Las actas de la reunión anual del 2023 se han proporcionado a nuestros asistentes en persona y en línea. Por favor, tómense un minuto para leer el documento y si les parece, propongo una moción para su aprobación.
Do I hear a motion?
La segunda.
I heard Stacy first. Second?
Escucha Stacy, la segunda.
Ronnie, second. All in favor? Anyone opposed? All right. Thank you very much.
Moción aprobada. Gracias.
Next on our agenda is the CEO report for 2023, which we have previously recorded. We'll watch that together.
El siguiente punto de nuestro orden del día es el informe del director general para 2023, que ya hemos grabado anteriormente.
At Embold, it is our mission to improve the lives of our members and the communities that we share. And I'm proud to say that we're serving that mission in more places than ever before, with new branches in McMinnville and Newburgh, and a branch on wheels that can serve small communities, campuses, and other areas where a brick and mortar branch is just not feasible. Your credit union has grown from serving just 1 to now 6 counties in Oregon. And to better reflect that membership, we changed our name for the 3rd time in our history, this time from Clackamas Federal to Embold. The credit union movement was founded to serve the underserved. people that may struggle to receive financial services for any reason. At Embold, we've designed programs to help members who are struggling to afford housing or find themselves trapped in a cycle of predatory payday loans. We make loans to immigrant members with individual tax identification numbers or ITINs. Some members struggle with financial services due to language barriers. Embold has worked to serve all members in their native language. In fact, we've been designated a Juntos Avanzamos financial institution for our ability to serve the Hispanic community. We support our members' financial success by teaching them how to budget, manage their finances, and safely borrow when necessary. Every year, we teach hundreds of hours of financial literacy training to thousands of adult and teen learners through partnerships with the Canby Center, Northwest Housing Alternatives, multiple local school districts, and other partners. Courses are taught in multiple languages, including English, Spanish, and Russian. Our team prides itself on being a force for good. Last year, we partnered with more than 40 non-profit local organizations. More than 3/4 of our employees volunteered in the community for a total of more than 2,300 hours. For example, team members helped raise more than $70,000 to support individuals with intellectual disabilities at the annual Special Olympics Polar Plunge. We purchased and assembled hundreds of personal care kits for children entering the foster care system with our friends at Project 48. And we delivered more than 1,500 food boxes to food insecure families through our partnership with Clackamas Service Center. Economically, 2023 was a bit of a roller coaster as consumers and companies began to spend money that had accumulated during the COVID pandemic. This created liquidity challenges that rippled through the banking system, bringing down banks like Silicon Valley and First Republic. Throughout this national liquidity crisis, Embold maintained its excellent financial stability with lower than budgeted expenses and maintaining well-capitalized status as defined by our federal regulator, the National Credit Union Administration. Persistent inflation over the past 2 years has caused the Federal Reserve to keep interest rates at higher levels, which has been a tremendous benefit to savers. For most of last year, Embold was able to pay 4% on checking accounts and around 5% on some share certificates. Of course, when deposit rates go up, so do loan rates, which tends to damp down members' desire to borrow. Despite that, Embold funded more than $100 million in new loans for members last year, including more than $50 million in auto loans and nearly $35 million in loans to help small local businesses. Rebranding at a credit union typically causes slower member growth initially as the new brand takes time to become familiar in the community. Not surprisingly, Embold's member growth was flat in 2023. However, our team is doing a terrific job of building brand awareness, and we're seeing the results of that work. So far this year, more than 1,000 new members have chosen Embold as we rapidly approach the 36,000 member mark for the first time in our history. We've also deepened our relationships with existing members, many of whom opened additional checking accounts, certificates, or loans in 2023. Despite the new name and all of these exciting changes, Embold is still the same great credit union that has been rooted in our local Oregon community for more than 65 years, based on a principle of people helping people and operating as a member-owned, not-for-profit cooperative. Looking forward to 2024, we will be focused on reaching new family and business members and helping all members meet their financial goals. We are also working to make banking with Embold more convenient than ever by enhancing mobile banking, our branches, and by streamlining our applications and other processes. Thank you to our passionate and dedicated staff, our engaged team of volunteers, and most of all, thank you for being a member owner of Embold Credit Union.
I'm so sorry I had to see my big giant head that close up. I promise next year I'll step back a little bit from the camera. Supervisory Committee next. Contracts with accounting firm Moss Adams to conduct an annual audit of the credit union's finances. And here to discuss that audit is Auditor Ryan Sturgis with a pre-recorded message.
El Comité de Supervisión contrata a la empresa de contabilidad Moss Adams para llevar a cabo una auditoría anual de las finanzas de la cooperativa de crédito. Para hablar de esta auditoría es el auditor Ryan Sturgis con un mensaje pregrabado.
Hi, everyone. This is Ryan Sturgis with Moss Adams. Thanks for letting me be a part of the annual meeting once again for Embold Credit Union. Always a pleasure to be in front of the membership and be able to discuss the role of Moss Adams with the credit union and the services we perform. Each year the supervisory committee engages a CPA firm to validate essentially the financial records that are being presented to the membership. And to ensure that they're compliant with generally accepted accounting principles. What that entails is a lot of risk assessments, testing in various areas. There's also a big emphasis on financial reporting controls that are part of the overall process. We really focus a lot on those key controls that we feel are relevant for an organization of your size and complexity. And pleased to report that we came back with an unmodified opinion on those financial statements as of December 31, 2023, as well as not have any material weaknesses in financial reporting controls that were identified. So congratulations once again on a very nice audit process, and just want to thank management as well. You have a great team. We work with credit unions all over the nation, a lot in the Pacific Northwest, and have always been very pleased with how your management team operates and how we work with them. So congratulations once again, and have a great rest of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. Excuse me, Ryan is here today, so I recommend that you pepper him relentlessly with questions after the meeting. Next, we'll hear a few pre-recorded words from our board chair, Michael Frazier.
Gracias, Ryan. Y a continuación escucharemos unas palabras pregrabadas del presidente de la Junta, Michael Frazier.
Hello, I'm Michael Frazier. I've had the privilege of serving you as the chair of the Embold Board of Directors for the past year. On behalf of the entire board, I'd like to thank you for attending this meeting, whether you're doing it in person or online. Embold is a membership-driven organization, and your participation is very important to us. In the past several years, Embold, like all other credit unions, has been presented with a series of challenges. The combination of recovering from COVID, the natural disasters we've experienced like the forest fires and the power outages, and the rapidly increasing interest rates this past year has presented us with the unique circumstances. Through all this, our staff has demonstrated a high degree of resilience. While other financial organizations in Oregon have closed 350 branches in the last decade, Embold has continued to grow. During this same period, Embold has also expanded its service area to include the Portland area and the surrounding counties. In 2023, we opened 2 new branches in McMinnville and Newburgh. As I said at the outset of this message, we're a membership-driven organization. While all this has been going on, we've continued to receive our highest level of member satisfaction ratings from you. This type of success does not just happen on its own. It requires a loyal and dedicated staff. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank them for their efforts on your behalf, our members, to make Embold an exceptional credit union. Again, thank you for your continued support and membership in Embold.
On behalf of this year's nominating committee, I would like to announce that this year Embold Credit Union had 2 expiring board seats. The nominating committee nominated incumbent candidates Michael Frazier and Keith Galitz for those 2 seats. And since no other candidate applied for a seat on the board, no election was necessary. Both candidates are elected by acclamation. Congratulations to Keith and Michael on your reelection. And yes, and thank you for your service to Embold.
En nombre del Comité de Nominaciones de este año, me gustaría anunciar que este año Embold Credit Union tenía 2 puestos de la Junta que aspiraban. El comité de nominaciones nominó a los dos candidatos titulares, Michael Fraser y Keith Gaylitz. Dado que ningún otro candidato solicitó un puesto en la Junta, no fue necesaria ninguna elección y ambos candidatos son elegidos por aclamación. Felicitaciones a Keith y a Michael en su elección y gracias por su servicio a Embold Credit Union.
Last, we have new or old business. I am not aware of any, but it's a great time to ask questions if you have one. If you're here in person, just raise your hand. If you're online, please enter your question into the chat.
A continuación tenemos asuntos nuevos o antiguos. No tengo conocimiento de ninguno, pero este es un buen momento para aceptar preguntas si alguien tiene alguna. Si están aquí en persona, levanten la mano. Si están participando en línea, por favor, escriban su pregunta en el chat.
Questions, sir?
This is just general questions. Does Embold handle the mortgages ourselves, or do we in turn sell them to a servicer?
Pregunta general, ¿Embold vende los préstamos de casa a otra organización, institución o están en casa esos préstamos?
The short answer is both, but I'll have Kimo, our Chief Lending Officer, explain a little more detail to you.
La respuesta corta es dos, pero aquí está Kimo, del director de préstamos, para explicar.
So Embold originates all of our mortgages. We have the ability to place a mortgage in our portfolio where we hold the loan as our own asset, or we can sell it to the secondary market. All of our mortgage loans are being serviced through a third-party provider. It's a CUSO, which is a credit union service organization that we've partnered with called True Home, and they do our mortgage servicing. All of that communication and interaction is direct with us, and so we have the ability to direct our CUSO or our mortgage servicer on specific actions, and they're constantly providing feedback and member comments to us as well. So we work as a partnership, a very close partnership.
So that's what caught my eye was this True Home.
Yeah.
So when you say they service it,
Mhm.
you're carrying the loan,
Correct.
what does that mean?
They will hold the actual loan on their system, and when a payment is made, they will process it. They will do all of the tax reporting for you. They track and pay escrow balances, so they would pay your property taxes and your hazard insurance. So really, it's using True Home Solutions as a software, for better terms, that will process all of the payments and the transactions for us. Great question.
Speak just a bit, the online access though to the mortgage.
Oh, yeah. So True Home is integrated with all of our systems. So if you were using our online banking and you had your mortgage with us, you would be able to see your mortgage on our online banking system. So it's fully integrated within our systems. You can come into any one of our branches and make your mortgage payment with our branch, and we transfer that transaction data back to them. So the interaction is live streamed between the two companies.
Thanks, Kimo.
I appreciate the question, though.
Anyone else?
I think you said early on that you were working on improving the online banking. I'd like to know more about that. I have some suggestions if you'd like to.
It is always a work in progress, right? We're always trying to improve the online banking system in multiple ways. There are a lot of new things that come along, new technologies, new tools, new things that make it more convenient for members that we're looking at and trying to incorporate into the system. And then there are pain points. We recognize that, things that we wish worked a little better or a little smoother. We spent a lot of time recently, and sorry, Marisol, this is a lot, isn't it? Also, you want me to stop there?
Would you like me to translate? Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot about you back there.
What part?
Okay, well, we'll just move
Yeah.
on. We've been working a lot on the application side of things. So as you apply for a loan or for a new membership or for a different sub account, that process is clunkier than we wish it would be. So that's all handled through the digital systems that we're talking about here. We're working on that quite a bit. And I don't want to get into, we can have an offline conversation if you have a laundry list of things that you'd like to see done, but is there any overarching kind of theme?
A couple things. One is that it seems to take at least 4 to 5 days to get a payment to my creditor.
Mhm.
And, so I get online going, oh, I gotta get paid, it's due today or tomorrow, and it won't get there for 5 days. So, and I think this is an electronic payment.
Are you using bill pay to pay your bills? Yeah. That depends really on the payee. Some payees can process electronic payments, and so it's quicker. And some do not, and the system has to cut them a check and send it to them. Those are typically the ones that take 5 or 6 days.
Well, and the reason I kind of question that a little bit is, I came from Chase. And particularly the PGEs and Northwest gas and all of that. I mean, they're all electronic. In fact, the paper check is rare. And so, when I send a payment to PGE and it takes 5 days, I don't get it. I don't know why. Because I know they've got the ability to do electronic.
You're right. Most of the big utilities do have electronic capabilities. We can take a look at it with you and see exactly what you're seeing there and try to help you figure out if there's a reason for that. Certainly.
One other thing is that when I pay my bills, it goes into the bill pay and it doesn't show up in my register for several days. And I think, I don't know how much I got left in there, because I just paid the bills. So that's another one.
We can help you with that too. There is a place that it immediately shows you, it tallies what you've got outgoing, and so we can help you look at that a little bit if you'd like as well. Any other questions?
I have another one, but I think she needs to catch up on the translation.
I'm happy to. Do you want me to sum up what you just said?
You got all that?
Or I can.
This is going to be really impressive. Let's see this.
Should we start with chemo? Or
Are you really going to do that?
if you want
I'm
me
impressed.
to translate, I can translate. I know what you guys
Anybody
said.
here more comfortable in Spanish than English? Okay, then let's not.
We're good? Okay.
Yeah. I saw 2 hands, but I don't know who was first, but Sean, I saw your hand. I think maybe a little bit quicker.
All the bank systems are on the wayside, like US Bank and Bank of America, State Bank. And I was wondering, how will Embold protect us from not losing the money that's invested that we have inside of our account?
Mm-hmm. So I don't think they're all going away. I wish some of them would go away, frankly, but the short answer is that there's insurance that's provided nationally, right? So if you put your money in a bank, there's something called FDIC, and they insure your balances up to $250,000. If you put your money in a credit union, there's a similar thing. Both federal programs called NCUA, and they have an insurance fund that's also the same amount of money, $250,000. So unless you have more than $250,000, you're fully insured. If you do have more than $250,000, there are a lot of ways you can structure those balances and put them in different accounts to plus that up and get more coverage as well, which we can talk to you about that at length if you need that help.
We just had a few people online ask you to repeat the questions because
The
they can't
question
hear them.
was, I'll synopsize. The question was, how are we sure that Embold, my money is safe at Embold, basically was your question, right, Sean? Is that correct? Okay. Yeah. I'm guessing that your friend's probably referring to some of the banks that failed. I mentioned them in the video earlier in the year, and those things are typically they're isolated incidents. There are, periods, economic periods where there are more of them than you'd like to see, but that usually happens to specific institutions for specific reasons that we are not dealing with at this credit union for one thing. For another thing, unless you have more than $250,000 in your account, you're fully insured. Even if we were to go away, you would get your money back. So you can rest easy. Sir.
I've been intrigued by the video tellers
Mhm.
and cost-wise, what's the comparison cost-wise versus having someone in person like 10 years ago?
Mhm. Well, there's a lot of different, huh?
Repeat it for the listeners.
Thank you. The question was, what is the cost benefit essentially with the ITMs, the video tellers in the branches? And here's what I would tell you is that the cost is, it's not massively different one way or the other. The machines are fairly expensive, but we are able to be a lot more efficient with them because we don't have as many people working as tellers with the machines. And the reason for that is that if you ever go in a branch or if you, if you're like me and you have cameras and you can see what's going on in the branches, there are very busy times. And then there are times where there's nothing going on and people are bored, twiddling their thumbs, and it's just not a very efficient system. With the ITMs, we have one core group of tellers that do all the work for all the branches. And so all of those spurts and fits are leveled out across the whole organization. So we gain in efficiency there. There are a lot of other benefits too. And for example, the security of it. We don't have cash drawers anymore. So we don't have the pass a note, give me all the money in your drawer situation that, in fact, we've seen, actually, I would say an uptick of bank robberies in the last year or so. And we haven't had any of those, I think largely because of ITMs. ITMs have allowed us to be able to operate in times of inclement weather in a better fashion, because if we can get this building open where the ITM tellers are, we can serve all of the ITMs that are drive up or walk up capable. Whereas, in Sandy, maybe they can't get to the branch. We've been able to serve people in multiple languages a lot more easily with ITMs because we have a core group of tellers that we make sure we keep Spanish speaking folks on that team. And because they serve every branch, that means we can serve every branch in Spanish language. So I could go on. There's a lot of benefits to it that we enjoy. So good.
Let's have a shout out to the ITM, the drive up.
Mhm.
And it was a personal experience that I drove up and I couldn't pull out the money that I wanted. And I actually went away and came back the next day thinking, well, maybe, anyway, and I came back the second day, I still couldn't get my money out. And then I thought, oh, there's an ITM in that box. So I called them up and they scanned me, which was very good.
There you go.
Very happy.
We have a lot of stories like that. I'll tell you a quick one too. We had I think it was it this last Christmas or the Christmas before, Christmas Eve? You might remember there was a huge ice storm and everything was closed. And not only do we have the ITM set up, but we also have several of our ITM teller staff are able to work from home when they need to. And so on that particular day, we weren't able to get to a lot of our locations, but we had tellers working through the ITMs from home. And we had a member who showed up at one of the ITM, drive up ITMs, and she was literally in tears because she had a paycheck. She just got paid that day. She needed to deposit it. She still had Christmas to buy for her kids. And the only reason she was able to do that is because we had the ITMs and we had people working from home. We were able to serve her on a day when we wouldn't have been open otherwise, and nobody else was open either. So, yeah, good stuff. Anyone else? Good.
Got another one.
All right.
Okay. Looking through the rates and fee schedule, and I got a big tax return. I thought, I'm gonna put this in some kind of a savings account.
Mm-hmm.
And the only savings account I see on here, it offers 4%, but you have to do 12 debits a month. And there was a couple other things that it's not a.
That's a checking account is what you're looking at there.
That's the 4% return, but there's no savings accounts over 0.5%.
You have to have a certificate really to enjoy those higher rates. That's not unique to us. That's kind of the market that we're in right now. And the reason for that is that I mentioned the liquidity crisis that we have just kind of gotten through. Not we, Embold, we, the country. Institutions have been very aggressive putting rates out there. You've seen 4%, 5%, whereas a year ago it was 0.5%, right? Or less. But they want to lock that money up because institutions need the liquidity. They want to make sure they don't run short on cash. So that's the kind of the market that we're in right now. And we kind of are captive to that. And we play the same games that every other institution does to try to serve members and at the same time balance our financials and make sure that we're in good shape.
So that's what I assumed.
Yeah.
But my question comes back to, so why are we as a credit union paying a 4% for a checking account?
Mhm.
What's the purpose of offering that?
You could probably think of that as like a loss leader. Like when you see the shopping thing and butter is 19 cents because they want you in the store. That's kind of, and we're not alone in this either. This is a common tactic, right? Once institutions have your checking account, they feel like they kind of have their hooks in you. You're kind of committed and they can hopefully get more business with you over time. If you don't have a checking account, then you're a lot more free to come and go, right? It's hard to move that checking account. It's easy to move a share account or a certificate or whatever. So that's why we do that.
I like that plain, straightforward answer.
Yeah.
I kind of guessed that. But
Yeah.
Thank you.
I made the 19-cent butter up thing. Don't go to the store and expect that. Yeah, probably so. Anybody else? All right. Well, thank you so much. Not hearing any other questions, I think we will adjourn the 67th annual meeting of Embold Credit Union.
Gracias a todos de nuevo por asistir. Con eso vamos a levantar la 60ª reunión anual de Embold Credit Union.
Gracias.
Thank you.